Good morning, Boniface.
Good morning, Kesha.
Today good morning to all of you. Today we have a fabulous guest, Boniface Verney-Carron, London-based, very famous and very renowned osteopath, acupuncturist, and IKIGAI teacher. What is most important about Boniface is his holistic approach to health. And that's what we would like to discuss with him today. We're going to be talking about healthy living in unhealthy world. Boniface, how do you understand healthy living? Perhaps through the perception of people that you see every day that you treat, and obviously they come up to you with their health problems.
I will start by saying one thing very simple. It's the definition of health, which not many people are aware of, weirdly. And to be healthy is to be in a complete state of physical, mental, and social well-being, and not just the absence of disease or impairment. So what this is saying to you is saying that being healthy is not being ill. Being healthy is being content in your body with no pain, with a functional body. It is being happy and content in your mind, which is another quite tricky place to be happy in. And then socially. So if you think about dividing this in third, I think a lot of the time we're talking to the wrong things. So if you see a patient, you see a friend, and if you're thinking, is this person healthy? You should try and bring this filter, say, okay, how much of this is physical, how much of this is mental, how much of this is social. Now in social well-being, we have it's extraordinary what you have. We have everything. We have your background, your identity background, your cultural, your educational background, your achievements in life, and your perceptions also. What were you thinking you were going to become when you were, as a little teenager, 15-year-old? What did you think you would be at 20, at 25, at 30? Those expectations, did you match them? Did you overcome them? Did you not reach them? Is that affecting you? So I think, to resume a little bit, I think if you think of health that way, and you look around today, you'll be surprised, because yes, it's such progression in medicine that now we're having people living longer, and I wouldn't say healthier. They all have something that they are kind of struggling with a tiny bit. And if you ask yourself, like, how am I in my health? Do I have no pain whatsoever? Do I sleep? Do I digest? Then do I interact well with my friends? Do I have enough friends? Does it feel enough to me? Do I feel listened to? Do I feel loved? Am I loving? And I mean, this is a lot of questions I'm throwing at you here, but at the end of the day, this is how you should grow perspective on the idea of health for you and for people around you. So now, if I go back to where I am, as a practitioner, and having people coming to me have already made a decision to come, so they've assessed that something is not optimal. They come with so many different things. They say, one with back pain, one with headache, one with anxiety, one with digestive issue, one with, it could be, random infection, for example. I think that's a very cystitis, for example. And all these different ailments are not describing them as sick. They don't have 39 or 40 degrees fever, and they're not, like sick with the flu. They're functional. They wake up every morning, they go to work, they have their life, yet something's just not quite there. So we call this functional disorders. They're called dysfunction. And this is the reality in which we are. It's trying to understand that if you don't tackle the issues then, the only way that will go is further down towards disease. And that's what an interesting little thing to think about. If you think about the word ease, and if you think about the word dis-ease, this is exactly what it is. In the middle, you can separate the two. Dis-ease is exactly the functional world in which we need to be really aware and focused to find those little symptoms that are alerting us to something bigger.
Very well described. And according to you, although perhaps sometimes it can be more reasons than one, is what is usually the biggest benefiting reason to that dysfunctionalities in people's lives? Is it stress or something else as a big contributing factor?
Well, I think here again, I'm sorry to always come back on defining words, but it's very important. And I'm a very firm believer and defender on the fact that stress is totally galvanized in the wrong way. Stress is not a problem. Stress is what makes us alive now. Right? The mechanisms of stress have to be described properly. We are mammals, and therefore we were mammals that had predators. So we have mechanisms of stress that are very well through evolution, I think, that's my belief, been established in a way that you can have a very big peak of stress if need be. If I'm walking in a forest and being attacked by wolves, I want my digestion to shut down and blood to descend to my head, to my senses, to my limbs, and to increase my heart rate, increase my blood pressure, increase my glycemia. I want to react. And either I make myself to a place of safety and shelter, or I'm eaten, whatever. But if I get to my shelter place, I can then recover and even further down I want to come back to my normal level. Now this mechanism is something that mammals like us can repeat, and we're quite good. The difference we have in our world today is that we don't have very deep stress. It happens. We are being very cautious, we're very lucky, we live in a westernized world, it's a very safe environment. We're saying. But in this environment, people are still stressed, but they don't have peaks of stress. They have low-grade stress. That's very different. And most of them stress they make themselves in their own head about the importance of the job, the importance of saving money, the importance of their life, and they're not putting it often into perspective. Okay, no judgment on my part. I'm just saying a lot of the stress I see often happens in their own mind. Now this stress is very detrimental to us because it leads to a tiny bit of increase of my blood pressure, a tiny bit of increase of my my cortisol, I was going to say, because the adrenals, as you know, which modulate the stress response, they're not peaking, they will just drop a little bit of cortisol and adrenal. So I have slight rises of all the three constants. And eventually, even though I'm not aware of this, when I'm going to reach to really peak of stress, I'm going to ask my adrenals to go. Nothing's there. And that's what you've heard before, I'm sure it's called adrenal exhaustion or a burnout. That's exactly what it is. So, just coming back on stress. Stress for me is not a bad thing because it can also help you perform better. Some people have real potentialization from stress. So we have to think, what is bad is low-grade chronic stress. That our physiology and metabolism is not designed for it in terms of evolution. And therefore, this is what we're suffering. And this is what I'm seeing. So when you say stress, I say yes, I do see people who suffer from low-grade chronic stress. And this is what is starting to change their physiology and metabolism. And the symptoms are random, but mostly, you've heard it many times, it's going to be issues with sleeping, with waking up tired, with digestion and metabolism, what they eat. We're going to come, I'm sure, into this a bit of what we should eat and not eat. Obviously, it's a multifactorial problem that we're trying to tackle here because we have so many layers to our lives. But I think first and foremost, my job and our job is to create awareness. That when people are not feeling, as I was first speaking, fully healthy, physically, mentally, and socially, it's not their duty, but they should just sit down for a minute and say, okay, how can I potentialize this? How can I make myself better? And then we have all the tools. I mean, they are there, especially today when we have access to so much information. Which also I'm going to be talking in a minute is the counterpart and the parodies of this incredible technology. So there's so much good into it and so much rubbish to good as well.
Very true, very true. So, okay, if it's not stress, then you've touched on, you've mentioned that already, on what is making our life so unhealthy. You've mentioned the incorrect digestion, sleeping patterns,
Yes.
technology, especially usage of this technology, right?
Right.
Is there anything else you would like to point?
Well, I'm going to, here it's very simple. I'm going to go back to Socrates and tell, the most important thing if you want to start to be healthy is to know yourself. Under Delphi Temple in Greece was written, know thyself and you will know the world and the gods. What that means in the metaphor means that you have to know who you are in every possible way. You and I are different. You don't digest the same way I do. So the recipe that will work for me optimally is not the same that will work for you or for anyone else. We're all singular. But also this changes. I'm 40 years old now. I am not, and I don't have the same skills I had when I was 20 or 15. So you have to keep having this introspective look without being crazy about examining yourself. But just thinking, okay, who am I? What time of my life? Where do I come from? Very simple. I'm a little French boy, right? I grew up in Lyon, so I grew up eating French food from Lyon. So it would be totally unreasonable to think that this is really bad for me, because this body has been built on that. So I'm trying to say there is always a bit of refined food. So I'm trying to be as happy as I can when I eat, and we know what the good foods are. We can discuss it if you want. But yes, I'm also keeping my relation to my roots and to who I am. So I'm not taking you as an example, I'm just trying to say that all of us have to first know ourselves. Doing so, you also then know what is good food was not. And you have to listen again to yourself when you eat certain foods. You know if this is good food. You know if after eating this meal you feel really lethargic. You know if after this meal you're not having the best transit. You know it. Doesn't mean you can't function. I mean, most people go along their life and carry on, and as they should.
Mm-hmm.
But these little hints will be there all along. And as long as you're resilient, you can. So you can eat a really big meal and drink a bit and feel good if it's all in a part of happiness and it's still part of also you exercising on the side and quite happy in your relationship, happy in your job. You have so many other places to help with your resilience. But do the same thing and you add it to a very difficult job situation, pretty precarious family situation, and you have the same meal. It will be extremely difficult for this patient to take it through, or even the same person put in different situations. So I think you have to always be able to, not easy, I'm not saying this is easy at all, by the way, to step back a little and have a perspective on things that surround you and how can you optimize this kind of moving part.
Mm-hmm. So it's a very holistic approach, and I quite like it because myself I am advocate on creating a lot of self-awareness, knowing yourself, knowing how we function, because that really helps us. And what I notice, a lot of people rely, and okay, okay when you rely on a specialist like like yourself, but sometimes there's no good recipe that is fit for all, because we have different DNA, we have different genes, and sometimes even the diet will not be suitable for everyone, right?
Okay. So, I mean, I'm a firm believer of this. I mean, my job here is not to tell people what to do. My job is to try and feel with people who they are. And then, once we've got that, then we can put things in place. Would it be physical routines, eating routines, and also all the things we're going to talk about in a minute in the mental health, because all of this is also perception. You also have to kind of recalibrate the way you feel the world, the sensoriality, and then manage your expectations. What do you think you need to be? A good question I ask a lot of the time, and it's a very tricky question. I mean, I'm never asked for the answer on the spot, but just to think of it is, what is a successful life? What is a successful life for you? All answers are good. If you tell me it's to have 3 Ferraris in my garage, fair enough. I'm not here to judge. I don't think it's a fair idea, but if this is your aim and makes you happy to go there, if the whole journey and the achievement makes you happy, we've just, obviously, we know that rarely the case, but anyway. But most people, when we ask them what's a successful life, they're like, well, it's to be happy, it's to be, it's really difficult to define. And again, it's because it's morphic, it changes. My expectations now with a wife and 2 kids is quite different from when I was 30 and single in London, of course. It's very different. So, but it's important to manage to sometimes just take a step back, have a look, in a very constructive way. I'm not saying that we should scrutinize our lives and find all the things that go wrong and then focus on those. Not at all. Quite the opposite, actually. See that by helping the whole, the little things just lift up.
Perfect. So, what would you say regarding the well-being as superpower? Now, it's a very hot topic, wherever you go and you're interested in well-being, on conferences, on TV shows, on podcasts, people talk about well-being as superpower. What does it mean to you? What you...
To be fair, I'm not sarcastic at all. I'm just saying, it's all we have. It's all we have. Health is all you have. Without it, you have nothing. So, that's the beginning of it. When I think of well-being or super well-being, I'm just thinking, we have to potentialize this, because I'm a very spiritual man and I think of lots of things goes in my head and beside and beyond my head. But I also know that at this point, this thing is the only vehicle in which I'm going to be able to get through this life anyway. So, I have to make it last as long as I can, but also functionally last as long as I can. I don't want to be a 65-year-old man taking medication for my cholesterol, for my blood pressure, for my glycemia, for my thyroid, which is roughly, that's 4 things. Feed the world with pharmaceuticals. If that is how we should live from age 65 to 85, well, I'm not sure I want to sign for this. I'm not saying they're bad things. Don't get me wrong. And they save lives and it's all great, but it's a big lie. We should not. But with the knowledge we have today about nutrition and health in general, there's such dramatic changes that could be done in our societies, and this is political decisions for most of them that are not happening. How is it that we still have sugar? Explain to me. There's not one study in this planet that will tell you that eating refined sugar is good for you. It is basically poison. Okay? I don't agree that it's not nice to have a nice carrot cake. I'm not saying that. But I'm saying today, if you want to get rid of nearly 70% of diabetes, maybe not so much 60, with the rest of which you other causes, you should have refined sugar in your country. And as a politician, you could. Okay, 2025, no more sugar. Done. Our kids won't even remember this. It's like, I grew up in a society, everyone smoked from morning to evenings. My dad smoked 10 cigarettes in a car journey of 5 hours. If I say to my son now that we used to smoke in cinemas, in planes, in cars, he doesn't even think it's possible. We would do the same thing with sugar. 10 years later from now, we would have forgotten. And you would have a whole society that when you come into a corner shop, you don't have a wall of sugar to eat from. And we could say plastic, and I know this is all very now, but it baffles me. Because if as a politician your role is to keep your people as well as possible, one of the things that we start doing is maybe not feed them poison. Are you going to say the same for cigarettes, the same for alcohol, which I agree with, and I'm not saying we should not have them. It should be a bit like we're doing now, regulated. You should not eat sugar before you're 18. Then at 18, you're an adult to do what you want with your body. I'm not here to tell you what to do. But to give sugar as a treat to young kids growing up from age 5 to 15 is ridiculous.
How to stay healthy in an unhealthy world in terms of tangible things that you can do on a daily basis?
So honestly, I mean, I might repeat myself here a little, but I think the first thing, and I know it's everywhere, you're what you eat. I don't know how to put it another way. We are humans, we have to eat roughly 3 times a day. Again, for the lucky one. So 3 times a day, you're going to put something in the fuel in your body. So, of course, your physiology, your metabolism, and therefore yourself can be only the reflection of what you put into yourself, right? So, we are quite ketogenic because I love butter. I believe in fat being the best fuel, and this is the biggest theory you can look around. Trust me, I've read. And if you look at the biggest jump in evolution around 70,000 years ago, which we call the cognitive revolution, you have to know at the time the little sapiens we were more scavengers, but actually big hunters, super clever, like all working together to kill big animals. Not at all. We used to just hide in the corners, and once the big lion, and the big cat, and then the smaller cat, and that's when we went to eat carcasses. And what did we eat in the carcasses? We ate what was left with the bone. What's in the bone? The bone marrow. Now, the bone marrow is potentially one of the most potent food one can eat. And this is how it made our brain and all our neurological tissue grow bigger. So, this is a good example. Bone marrow, fat, and there's a great book, if you know, from Joseph Mercola called Fat Fuel. That is a really beautiful book that explains how it is important. So, what we try and do is this: is to have quite a lot of fat in our diet. We try to not have a lot of sugar in our diet, quite the minimum, and lots of vegetables. We don't eat fish anymore because the fish, this is more my wife, but we've made a study and around in any place where you have more than 2 million people together, all the fish you have is absolutely intoxicated because the supply chain is done that way. So you have all the heavy metals, aluminum, you have lead, you have all mercury, all you want, because they're very potent into drying it, and they're also microplastic. Anyway, so as much as I love fish, and I grew up in the South France, which is a place where fish is exquisite, at the moment we don't eat fish. We eat biodynamic, grass-fed, meat grown. Again, every time I say this, I'm sorry to repeat, but I know that we're lucky that we can. I know that this moment in time, to feed this way requires a certain amount of money that not everyone can access. And it's what I would like to fight. If there is something I'd like our government to change, is to allow, by helping and realizing the places either paying medication for people sick at 50 and 60, they should help real young agriculturers who want to do biodynamic, organic, at least agriculture, and feed their population with this. They won't get ill later on. It's just a way of thinking, probably. And where am I? Yeah, and we. So roughly it's this. Just be aware of where you source your food. Obviously organic if you can. Biodynamic even better. And lots of fat. And I'm not that fat. And it's this whole totally mistake. That you should not be fat because it makes you fat is such bad.
So basically, our body needs the fats for healthy functioning, and especially the brain burns a lot of it, right?
It's funny that you will hear this. Oh, you're from France, and this is why you eat mom or people, you're all thin, although you eat a lot. You're like, oh, it's a Mediterranean diet. Like, fair enough. What is it? What is it? It was roughly, fish in that instance, but a lot of vegetables and olive oil. That was it. Olive oil and butter, you can go as much as you want. We have a little girl who's 6 months now. She basically eats butter straight from the butter, and it's, we didn't do this, and it's perfect. That's one thing.
All right, and it works also for people who are trying to lose weight?
I mean, if you associate this eating to intermittent fasting, you will literally break. Because you don't eat carbs anymore. I'm not saying I don't. I eat carbs, I eat rye bread, but I eat bread. My wife doesn't, but I do. And again, it comes back just a little quickly. I'm French, Bread is part of my culture, first of all, my upbringing. So yes, I don't eat 3 baguettes a day. But, will I eat a piece of cheese with, whatever, coffee or camembert, a good baguette and a glass of wine? Yes. Yes, I'm going to do this. And I believe that the happiness and the satisfaction I get from this is making me healthier. I strongly believe it because it's part of making myself happy. I don't need to be, I don't want to restrain on it because if I never eat ever again a piece of bread or a piece of cheese or have a glass of wine. I'm going to be so miserable. I will get an illness from the I feel miserable, you know?
Let's talk about the usage of technology.
Yeah.
We all know it's important. It absolutely, I want to say, violated our lives. I really observe that a lot of people are totally dependent on social media, and my observation is social media became sugar. You know, as toxic as sugar is to our body.
Fair to say.
Mhm.
And this is exactly my point. I don't some, but I will finish by saying this. I think, like anything, you know, you can, if you have a good will, you can drink a glass of wine. You can eat a piece of cake. You can do things in harmony with your life. It's the same thing with phones. If everyone could easily mix the worst and then so it. So I'm not too sure the only way to manage my level of anymore is to really never discuss it and say this is it. 1 hour on Friday, on Saturday, 1 hour on Sunday. That's it.
So basically, it all comes down to discipline.
Social media. Because the problem is that your phone attracts you with something else. I feel very entitled to look at my phone for news. Of course I do, right? So I stop, I'm going to read the French Le Monde, for example. I'm going to read a bit about the sports, whatever. But then I'm here. I've done that, I switch, and the next, and Instagram is there, or Facebook is there, or whatever, WhatsApp is there. It's difficult. So we have to be, I think we have to help them, sadly, by being strict to start with, and then also make sure they see the enjoyment without it. And that's honestly super hard. I mean, if you're lucky to have a kid who's quite good at sports, so quite physical, quite good with friends already, you will be managing your phone usage, don't get me wrong. If you have a kid who's a bit struggling at the moment with social interaction, who's not that inclined to physical activity, good luck, because this is going to be absolutely 10 times more amazing than anything else. So it's going to be not just addictive, it's going to be like, this is my refuge. This is where I'm happy. This is where no one judges me. This is where I'm good. This is where I get rewarded for my things. So, you know, there's I'm not an expert in this, obviously, but I can see the impact on their health. I can do, really do. They have this desire for a constant reward that we all have as kids. You know, I see my little girl, every time she does something, she turns around to see if I watched her, which is so cute, first of all, and endearing, but you know, we have that. We need this feeling of acknowledgement.
Exactly, and it's so addictive.
It's lost. It's getting lost.
And it can definitely lead to, like, staying online all the time. And we've been talking about kids, but also for adults. People do have installed their work email on their phone, so they're like just constantly online. And it's a good excuse. It's like, oh, I have to check, because it's work related. But that makes us.
One of my friends is quite diligent, but also quite aware of his, like I was telling you, I witnessed 40 years ago. He does his one thing every Sunday night. Before he goes to bed, he installs all the social media, passes through the week without it, and installs it again on the weekend. Because it is true that it helps you to communicate with your mate, and if you're going out of it, you are ostracizing yourself in society, not exactly what you do. But it is interesting. And I think this is a good way that you can really manage it. This is all out, and then go back, and for a week you're free of all of it.
Absolutely. It sounds radical, but it makes a lot of sense. Because people who do digital detox retreats, then they really realize that there is so much more time that they think there is. Because if you're online all the time, your attention is totally immersed all the time, and you never get a break. So imagine it's like living without meditation, or without just relaxation. It's the same.
Sure.
What is your take on the best techniques that would prevent career burnout, or basically fatigue?
Well, I mean, that's really exactly what we were discussing with the stress. So a burnout is nothing more or less than the end of a long, chronic, low-grade stress day. A career burnout is always someone who was not listening to some clinical signs. We should say symptoms, because when we reflect on ourselves, symptoms. As the doctors, you knew something. You could feel that you did put on weight. You did start having a change in your behavior. You're more snappy. You're not as happy as before. Things that made you really happy quite simply don't anymore. The whole life and the way you get through it is more tedious and less enjoyable. But these are all serious signs to me. But of course, if you go and see your doctor, they'll be like, yeah, whatever, but your temperature's fine and you're fine and this. But it starts. Something has changed. And would it be because you have too much work, or because you bring too much importance in your work, or the system is putting too much importance in all of it and telling you have to do it in a certain way, or you're being bullied at work, whatever it is. At the end of the day, that's what we're talking about. So you have to regain resilience. And I was talking about the different aspects of health again: physical, mental, and social well-being.
Well, that sums up everything, Boniface. That has been a wonderful, wonderful interview, and thank you so much for your time, for your energy, and your willingness to share your knowledge. Would you like to add anything? Where can we reach you? You are London-based.
Yes, I live in London and I work in Marlow. It's easy to find me online because my name is strange enough that there isn't that many osteopath or acupuncturists called Boniface, so you can find me easily. Do you know what it is? I think the only thing I will add, I'm seeing the difficulty we are having, and one perspective is having with trying to change the world of fashion and sustainability and biodynamic farming, and understand that we've pushed this whole system to a point of no return. But it requires so many changes. Right? We need to change the way we live a little bit. We have to accept the idea that our life will be different from where our parents' life was going for us and what they thought our life would be. And that, you have to embrace that change, you have to dominate it, you have to educate it. But you have to keep it fun. It's no time I sit down with my mates and I tell them how to eat, what to do, and what to not do, and how to get dressed, not to dress. I mean, like, who wants to sit down with their teacher? No.
Mm-hmm.
So, yes, you have to give some information through that you think is relevant to so-and-so or certain situations. But you have to be constantly aware. I need to help, educate, but I also have to define. Because if I lose that bit, you lose the two other bits. You lose it. And then people are, here they come with the boring ones. And you've missed the point. And also you've lost your friend. So there's a lot to lose. So it's important to keep that in mind. So when you start having those changes, you should share with your friends, you should share with your family, and you see they all will take it, they embrace it. But be aware of we don't have a lot of time, sadly. This is a problem. This is a type of emergency. This is a health emergency. But yet, be aware of how to do it. And be aware of how hard it is. It's super hard. We've changed our life around in 5 years and everything. And it's been hard. It's been really hard. But also very fulfilling. And you should see how many people follow us now because they felt better after a few different changes, little changes. So it is true. And also we don't have a choice.